Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything in between in the wide world of Warhammer. We are here, of course, to discuss a number of things. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments or live in chat. We're going to be discussing the last balanced data slate of 9th edition. We're going to be talking about tanks, and we're going to be talking about, independent characters. Lots to dig through.
So much.
It's kind of wild. And we're, of course, joined today by Mr. Angron himself.
Mr. World Waters.
Mr. World Waters. How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing good. That was a game. A lot of counting. Brain couldn't keep up.
So we got you hooked on phonics, but there's a math one that I'm really excited about. So we'll get you that for next time.
Yep.
With that, thank you so much for joining us. Let's dive on in. First of all, I think let's talk about the balanced data slate. This, of course, is the last one of the edition, so we've got some big changes, big shakeups, which we actually started implementing literally tonight. So let's go ahead and take a look. We've got Bridger in the house producing.
What's up?
Bridger, let's see what we got.
Here we go. We got a balanced data slate.
All right. Well, if you're not familiar with aircraft, now we're not going to go through all the things that exist currently. We're going to go.
We're only going to go over the changes ones.
So first of all, we saw some changes to secondaries, which they kept here.
This is probably the biggest shakeup because secondaries are what determines a lot of an army's strength of how competitive they are. And so just little changes here actually will send big ripples across the meta as we know it.
And I don't think they've changed secondaries in the balanced data slate before, so that's exciting.
They have once.
They have once?
That's when they changed up shock tactics.
Oh,
they did that the first time. They're barely made it any better, and then we got the version now, which is good.
They just reformatted it and put it here instead of under the army. So Abhor the Witch is in a different category, whatever. Not much to talk about there. Trying to help Grey Knights and Thousand Suns. That
was such a wrong way to try to fix an army rather than adjust their actual secondary game, which is the problem with Thousand Suns. And they're just now these people won't take it. People generally didn't take it, against Thousand Suns, taking Abhor the Witch. Seems like a good idea, but it's generally a trap because trying to finish off units completely, their units are pretty tough. They'll survive with one or two guys, and then that's no point.
It's a win more situation, right? You're already tabling them.
Yeah.
Briefly, Broodswarm here did get a substantial hit.
That was a little too rough.
It was a little too much. Basically, you're not going to get points for having more models on the field than your opponent, which, to be fair, is probably a little bit too easy.
That one's unfair.
That one's too much. But they also removed the bonus point for having more models in your deployment zone, in No Man's Land, and your opponent's deployment zone.
Essentially, completing all three, which would give you that nice 4 points, which would have been a decent objective. Now it's only worth 3 points pretty much a turn.
If you manage to get more in literally all three of those categories.
Yeah, you're not going to score that on the first turn or in second. Even second turn, it's really hard. And so you're going to be probably stuck at probably realistically a healthy level of 9 points per game, 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Which is where everyone should be, but the current meta is you have other armies that can get solid 15s across the board.
It's so consistent. You can see people losing with very high scores,
Yeah.
And that's a thing. Which, speaking of losing with very high scores, we have Codex Warfare has been changed. This one was pretty much an automatic 15 points to Space Marine players every game. Let's talk about the changes, and then let's talk about what we think of them, because we've been discussing this a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, now you are back to being capped at gaining 5 points for each doctrine in Codex Warfare, which is what
good.
It was.
Yeah.
They also did, to their credit, add...
in the FAQ, they made it so that Space Marines have a lot of rules that they can make a unit count as being in another doctrine. They FAQ'd that, which is not actually in the balanced data slate, but a different PDF that came out today, is that if you count as assault doctrine, you're scoring points for being in an assault doctrine.
Right, because previously the secondary does technically say your army has to be in it. So they said, okay, you know what, if you're in it from an ability, that counts. So that does help mitigate. But ultimately, this is a pretty big hit to Codex Warfare. What do you think?
This was, I think, and some people might do this because it was broken before. Codex Warfare was how they designed it was a bad measurement of just sitting in and just getting points for killing, skewed the list too much, didn't have the spirit of the game. I think that they over-nerfed it, to the point, because now if you look at it, you have to kill... You only get 2 points for killing things in Devastator Doctrine, and which is the one you want to sit in mostly all game because heavy weapons are fantastic in Space Marines. And you'll get your 5 points on that. You'll kill 3 units. So now you have to kill 5 units in Tactical Doctrine, which is bolters, it's flamers. Like,
Yeah.
it's really hard just to kill 5 units in general. But
Exactly, yeah.
you have to build your list around that, and then you also have to kill 5 more into like while you're in Assault Doctrine, because they're only worth 1.
Yeah, in melee and with pistols. So ultimately, you still have to now kill 13 units. So it's
Yeah.
like, again, to win more. There's some armies you can do it against.
Even then, just killing 13 units is wild while meeting the conditions specifically for doing that. I would have liked to see that they would have reduced it, but made it you get 2 points in every category. So it's killed 9 units while meeting the right conditions, and also having like building into your list. Because that's the main thing with this one is like, if you don't have bolters and flamers that are consistently can kill stuff, and then you can actually do it for a turn and move on. Because you have to think, you only have 5 turns to do this.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting in the doctrines for 2 turns each, so 2 turns in Devastator, 2 turns in Tactical, and then 1 in Assault.
You're really on the clock
You're like
for it.
forcing it. It's
So this is a secondary that's going to be pretty tough to take.
and it's going to hurt because Iron Hands and Dark Angels and a lot of top Space Marine armies were kind of relying on this one to...
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Dark Angels, I know there are some other things like the Coal Order change, but let's talk about Dark Angels. It's kind of one of the big things. It's going to be further down. Pretty consistently the top army for a little while now. Dark Angels, 1 bullet point. Delete the 4th bullet point under Inner Circle ability, otherwise known as Transhuman Physiology, permanently on all these Inner Circle non-monster, non-vehicle units.
Wild. Everyone, like, that's like one of those things that where they're like, we all know this was coming. Dark Angels has been too oppressive. It's not fun to play against 30 Terminators with Transhuman.
Yeah.
And I know that the hundreds of the Unforgiven had come out and been like, I've been a Dark Angels player for years with my 30 Deathwing. Like they've been just waiting for this. But no one was having fun against this army.
No,
and everyone was like, they'll be reasonable. They'll drop it down to a mini Transhuman. Can't be wounded on 2s.
Yeah.
Everyone would have been happy. We'd have been fine.
I would have done that, yeah.
Supposedly they just went hard and threw the whole thing out. Maybe they were upset that people were complaining the Lion wasn't tough enough. So they're going to be like, you get nothing. You're not going to be tough enough.
I know. The Lion doesn't have Transhuman. Well, now nothing does.
Yeah, so he's now in line with that.
Yeah, I think it brings...
It's crazy because Inner Circle like gives Deathwing Terminators like rerolled wounds against characters, I believe. No, I think that's just the Deathwing rule.
No, yeah, it is their Assault Super Doctrine ability is reroll to wound against characters and monsters. And also, of course, if you're all Inner Circle, you also do unlock objectives secured on regular Terminators and Deathwing Terminators. So it still does stuff, but it feels like a bit of the identity of the army just kind of got dropped and is now ignored. So I think for balance, it's fine, but for people who play the army or for fluff, it's kind of weird. So, you know what? It is what it is.
Way over. I think, it went overboard.
That's fair. Drukhari, will be brief. Talos and Kronos have core back for the first time in a long time.
I'm happy I get to say Thick City again.
Thick City, I'm super excited. John's excited. It's going to be awesome. I won't comment on the fact that Demons did not get any changes, but if you have any questions, let us know. Yeah. What else is we're talking about here?
Harlequins went unchanged, but there was a big change for Deathwatch players. So before Deathwatch, like...
You're convinced. You're excited.
I'm actually a believer in this.
Yeah.
So before, for the people that know, Deathwatch did not get the ability to stay in doctrines every time. They have their own weird rules where they got to like choose doctrines. They had certain charges of it, so they considered. Now they have the best of both worlds. They get to choose what doctrine at any time and just stay. They can stay in it. They can switch it up. They can go back.
Yeah.
So it really makes the army maneuverable for like if you need to be in assault doctrine for whatever reason, you can do that. Like setting it up. You can stay in Devastator the whole time. So that I think is like Deathwatch was one of the worst armies. I think that plus they got a secondary change, which not that good. They changed Coaling to be that you get 3 points for killing something in that unit. Or
in that category?
In that category. So you choose, the Coaling game or whatever it's called is you choose 3 unit types.
Right.
So elite, troops, HQs. And so you'll get 3 points for killing 1 in that. And then it goes up to 5 points if you kill everything in that slot.
Okay. Before it was an all or nothing. You had to kill everything.
It was all or nothing and it was terrible. So now it's like you can reliably get 9 points onto it. And if you play smartly, you can get easily 11 points. And if the game goes hard, you can go, or if you do well with it, you can get 15.
Sure, but you could always get 15. Like that, that was the same. Then it's basically the same as before. And I'm just very.
You have to
skeptical.
just kill. You have to wipe out 2 slots completely to max out.
No, it's only 5 per, right?
Yeah. So it's 5, and then you'd get 3 points for.
So that's 13.
You're right. Math is hard.
again.
Yeah.
We'll get the hook
So
on math.
you can.
I don't know. I know you're more into it than I am. I'm very skeptical.
It's not about the secondary. I think the biggest thing is Deathwatch benefits the most from the free war gear, that they have so many options and choices.
But they have through this whole Arcs of Omen, and they've been not performing.
But they did not get the ability to sit and devastate it. Like they couldn't abuse it like other armies could.
Yes. I don't know.
I think the Deathwatch have a lot of tools and interesting things, and now being able to build around it, I think we're going to see them be pretty high, like up there.
Well, you're on record now, so
I know.
Let us know
I
what
will
you
be
think, chat.
looking at it, but I'm very happy with my Black Templar, so I'm probably not going to test it out. So
Yeah, no
I
need.
need someone in chat to be brave and step up with Deathwatch. They had really cool tech.
They do have cool tech. What else is worth talking about here?
No changes to Asuryani,
Yeah.
or the Eldar as nerds talk about it. No changes to Chaos, Space Marines.
No changes to Death Guard.
Death Guard are still Death Guard.
How Broadside's got core. Good
Yeah.
for them.
Broadsides about core, you're still going to just take crisis suits. I think they're powerful. I mean, broadsides aren't bad, but
Tower having trouble scoring for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with.
I don't think it adds anything that they already don't bring to the board. It's
Yeah.
They got units that are very good at killing. They already
Exactly.
have units that are good at killing.
So that's kind of the big changes. That's what you need to
We
know.
got a few more. Tyranids got a big change.
What happened to Tyranids?
So if Hive Tyrant no longer has to be your warlord, so doesn't just get
cute.
shot off. You don't have to take that. Big thing is now you don't have to. You get the adaptive ability, which is the main identity
gave it back.
of Tyranids, which they lost before they couldn't switch. So now you can change your rules pre-game. Before you had to build into your list, it was dumb. It was
Yeah. It's
he who should not be named, kind of like dealings in it.
Yeah. Okay. I actually really like this change because it was such a cool concept that works very much. It's the Tyranid lifestyle. you
Yeah,
know?
it's they
You need to-
adapt to the situation and actually, and as we've seen with the preview, is like
Yeah.
they're keeping that. So it would have been weird if they're like, we're adding that in 10th, but you can't do that now.
Yeah, I like that you can be like, oh, I need my monsters to be OPSEC this game or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's cool. That's good for
So
them.
they're doing that. I thought there was one other change, but
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Anything else, Bridjar?
Was Reaper of Obliterax capped at 3 mortals before?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, that's a few back.
Yeah, they pretty much they like undid nerfs is what they did, so it's harder to track.
Cool. Well,
And then
bronze orcs.
we
sisters.
actually all these ones.
Oh,
so
Custodes got nerfed.
we got two big ones.
Oh, yeah.
Here
Yeah.
is Astra Militarum finally got phase capped on
The finial.
or on
Sorry,
the Karskin's mortal wound
Oh.
output is like now capped at 6, and it has to be onto 1 unit, I believe.
Here's a wild thing. This is not an FAQ. This is them explicitly saying this is not the way the rules were written, but we are going to make it this thing because it was too powerful.
Yep.
So this is them admitting that it was intentional.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it'd be an FAQ, which there are
that is
FAQ
pretty
updates
crazy.
today.
Yeah,
What? They wanted that? They thought that was okay?
yeah, and everyone was like, whenever you I think we're having like this deja vu moment where we're like, hey, whenever you, I think we were sitting here saying, whenever you have uncapped mortal wounds,
It's a mistake.
It's a mistake, and it's always been too strong.
That's wild
And
to
then they hammered it down with having the like ability that whenever you have 6s to hit, count as 6s to wound, has always been too good and too strong.
The lion, 6s to save in melee only, has a cap of 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
And yet this totally deliberate.
I would have left that one uncapped. It'd
What?
be like, it's a
come
lion.
on.
Yeah.
We're gonna roll like 6, like
Yeah.
Anyways. And then the finial, of course, no longer ignores negative modifiers, which is important because it doesn't ignore the ability to. There's negatives for shooting on line inside of all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's -1 to hit and wound. It lost that ability to ignore that.
yeah, which is great.
I honestly feel like they nerfed the wrong thing here. The fact that it ignores, like, that it still ignores -1 damage, it ignores wound caps and feel no pains, and it's still an aura, I think is too good. I would have really loved them to change it. They could even keep the, like, ignoring the hit modifiers. Everything is just make it choose 1 unit.
Yeah.
Not an aura.
Yeah.
Like, the aura's insane. You just have them sit with their, like, mortars and 6s to wound, do a lot of damage.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think that's like them ignoring modifiers to hit and wound is fine. The phase cap is just like you can't have your. They need something to stop guard from just obliterating anything they can
I'm
see.
just not worried. Like this is just mortars, you know.
It's mortars. It's Karskins. It's
Caskins that have to be within 6 of the banner, like whatever.
not hard. Hard for them. I don't know. I think it's just
if you in this game, if you stand out in the open and expect to not die, then you're doing something wrong. Like,
yeah, but they've
everything
added
dies.
things that could survive that, and that's my problem.
Yeah, fair enough. The last change, Custodes, you cannot stack their defensive buffs on the unit.
Yeah.
We have the people running 2x10 wardens to thank for that.
Yeah.
Bridger.
I think this was also.
I was never a fan of those lists. Like
just skew.
they're oppressive and strong, but they're very skew, and when they lose very badly.
Yeah, it's like 4 CP to do that. I would have liked to see something a little bit more elegant. I think this is a little too hard.
Yeah.
If you want to spend 4 CP on a 3-man unit of Custodes to really keep them alive, I think
Yeah.
it's
increase the cost more for big squads.
yeah. You should just increase the cost more. I think having that is like not insane.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely in agreement.
Is that it's just
Yeah.
yeah. I get why they wanted to stop it, but they kind of just been doing this weird thing where instead of just like doing like little changes and modifying, they're like, we're gonna burn it down and then go from there.
Right. No, that's fair. Well, honestly, let us know in chat. Let us know in the comments what y'all think. This is the state of the game right now.
This is the rest of it. Yeah. I think it's going to shift the meta a little bit. Who do you think are going to be like, how do you think the meta is going to go?
Top of the list, Chaos Demons for sure. I think Iron Hand's still quite strong. I think Space Wolves, very happy about these changes.
Yeah, they didn't care before about Codex Warfare. And
Exactly.
So,
They got none of these nerfs. So honestly, those are my tops.
yeah, I think Dark Angels are still going to be really strong. I think running a bunch of Terminators is like is still going to be really good, but
Not bad.
they have
a good secondary.
Raven Wings. So it's like you still have play and you're going to be top and do very
I
well.
think they're A tier, not S tier now, which is fine.
Exactly. But S tier just means they didn't really have any bad matchups and they just were very oppressive.
Too good, yeah.
A tier means they're good, but there's like you can actually play against them and doesn't feel horrible to do it.
Yeah,
You can,
definitely agreed.
and I mean they got new tools to substitute a lot of stuff. Desolators, as we're seeing, are fantastic in Dark Angels.
Yeah.
And now they have the Lion, which instead of running 30 Terminators, run 20 Terminators in the Lion and enjoy a 6-inch heroic intervention on one squad.
Yeah, I think
I don't think you're going to win tournaments
good,
with
not
it.
Great. Yeah, which is kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I
there's
think-
plenty of ways to play the game that are fun that are not.
I think we
top
can see the
competitive.
Lion in top placings. I don't think he's going to be like the core to like the best Dark Angels list.
That's fair. Well,
Yeah,
look,
there's just a lot going on there,
there's a
man.
lot to talk about. So, 10th edition coming up. Of course, we have seen a bit of a glimpse into this. First of all, independent characters.
This is an old school rule that we haven't seen since they dropped in 7th edition.
Yeah, you are able to now join a squad. Again, you become part of the squad. You don't have to allocate any wounds into them unless everyone else has died.
No, it says specifically you can't. Everyone else has to die.
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah, so you can't have this characters. There's a lot of implications. The nice thing is like I was worried because like as soon as I heard independent characters, I had war flashbacks of like
Death
the
Stars.
7th edition Death Stars, which were massive. Where you take a strong, fast unit and you just dump characters into it.
But this time they've put fail-safes.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a couple
They
things.
thought about it. Yeah.
One, you can only add one character to a squad unless otherwise stated. We see here, of course, Primaris Lieutenant, GW's favorite model. You can attach a captain or chapter master as well as a lieutenant, which makes sense. It's a classic combo.
Yeah, and they're one of the few special cases that it says generally you'll only have one character join a squad.
Exactly. And they're also specifying what kinds of squads you can join. So again, this is part of the what I'm most excited about 10th edition is they're reducing the scope of unknown possibilities, right? There's less combos that can be had, yes, but it also means that the combos that do exist can be better designed. They can be, frankly, more powerful because they're not worried about what happens if you attach a White Scars captain to a unit of Thunderwolves and then Grants fall back in charge. Like, they don't have to worry about that because they know exactly what interaction is going to happen here, and I think that's a win for everyone.
You guys like how cheeky they're like, oh, look at these redacted squads.
Redacted.
Something's coming.
Is something coming, or again, I kind of read it as a Dark Angels player, but maybe I'm wrong.
No,
it's new
that there's
Those are almost definitely new units.
those are gonna be new units. Yeah.
But like,
we know there's going to be like a new Primaris Reaver squad, and
Well, but Reavers are
can't
not
join
on here
Reavers here.
because all of Gravis is not on here and all of Phobos is not on here.
oh, that's a good point that there is no Gravis armor.
Well, I'm sure Gravis characters will go in Gravis squads and Phobos characters will go in Phobos
We talked
squads.
about that, like how smart you are.
So there's 2 regular Primaris squads that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So this is good, and it's got some like positive minuses. I'm worried about like now, before your characters could hide and you can be like, you could obscure them behind a line of models, and if they kill one.
Yeah.
So now if this squad can be seen, that they can just blow through the squad and eventually get to the character.
So I don't think that's a negative. I think it's just different.
I think it's different, but yeah.
You can't think of it in the way that it is currently, you know?
Yeah.
There's too much that's going to be changed for that to be the case. And look, remember how annoyed we all were at the start of 8th edition of like, wait, your guys are standing out there in the open, but he can't be targeted, and what? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I hate that, or accidentally moving a guy up.
Yeah. So this is much more natural. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
The one thing is, I think it's going to bring more close combat characters back into the fold, because either your characters had to be incredibly fast and just like jet out like a missile and then die out. Instead, you can kind of hide a nice character like Helbricht in a squad.
Yeah.
Like he fights, you bring that, because I hate when you like charge with one unit, you fight with your main unit.
You fail the charge with the character.
You fail the charge. He's out in the open
Agreed.
and just gets shot. It's like it leads to a lot of feel bad moments, or like your opponent interrupts and then just kills your character or kills your squad. It just
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of what they can do, here we have the abilities for the Primaris Lieutenant. Again, GW's favorite model, which it's interesting, right? It gives the unit that they're in this case, lethal hits, which is auto wounding on 6s. And then also target priority, in this case, feels like the more powerful of the 2 abilities. Allows you to fall back and still charge.
And shoot. Fall back, shoot, and charge.
Yeah.
Very flexible, very interesting.
if that's what the lieutenant does, what does the captain do? Is going to be
Full rerolls to hit and wound all the time.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably something not crazy like that, but honestly less, to me, the Lieutenant's like a utility pick. You know?
I mean, I can see that the combo of just running them both in the same squad is like
cool.
what you're going to want to do. And interesting that they are reducing the number of rerolls in the game.
Yeah. Called that one, right?
Lieutenants don't reroll to wound anymore.
They're moving the rerolls.
Yeah.
Remember, Oath of Moment is full rerolls to hit and wound for your whole army against a target.
Against a target, so yeah, you're going to delete that from orbit and then
Yep.
no rerolls.
Every turn,
Yeah.
you'll delete a thing from orbit.
Yeah.
I think, just like they said, the game is getting simpler. In some ways, it's not.
Yeah.
Just like they're getting rid of rerolls, in some ways, they're not. They're just moving them somewhere else.
I also think what's likely is some factions will have a lot of rerolls and some won't. You know, like right now, famously, Orcs have almost no rerolls. And I expect that to actually maybe even stratify even farther. Like maybe Space Marines are about rerolls.
Yeah.
You know?
Or that, for the moment, it's going to be the only rerolls they're going to get.
Right.
Could be.
That's interesting. There's Primaris Lieutenant. That's independent characters, y'all. It's pretty wild.
It's pretty good. And the other thing that is noted is like some characters will have special rules to actually be able to not join squads and be character blocked.
Oh, yes.
So like Iron Father, Ferris will be able to stand next to vehicles and you can't target him.
Right.
The Lion and Gilliman will not join squads, but they will.
Hey, you don't know that.
They said specifically
said
that the
that.
No,
Lion.
you don't know that.
No, I know that.
You can't read, Shane. You don't know that.
I can't read, but I can read like the future. I look into the stars and it tells me what's
scry.
coming.
Totally fair.
All right, vehicles. Talking about vehicles.
All right, another insane change, which is a welcomed one, is we always talk about how vehicles don't feel like tankies.
Yeah.
They're not tough. They just die to pretty much. You have like creatures that are like as tough as like a Land Raider, and it doesn't feel like that. So they're going full on Rhino's T9 now.
But the Hunter Killer Missile is strength 14
Yeah.
and hits on 2s and it's AP3. So like,
Ooh, AP3.
so also firing deck was are these sort of open topped?
They're bringing back open top.
Firing
Yeah.
deck 2.
So these, I think you could shoot some things out of that. You can see the front hatch right there has some openings. That's really interesting.
So they used to have firing.
It's like pseudo open top.
Used to have an open top, and it was only fire like 1 or 2 models out of
Right,
it.
'cause it's 2
Out of a
windows.
Rhino, so they're bringing that back. It's cute. They actually made the explosions like strat a keyword now, so it's going to be
Deadly
unified.
Demise D3.
Yeah, so much better.
And it heals itself 1 wound and you're
Yeah.
confused.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's another rule to forget. Why did they include that? I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah, because they used to have that. They used to be auto
if
repairing.
if that's the Space Marine vehicle thing, that they all heal one, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I would honestly make it D3 at that point, or 2.
no, Necrons heal D3.
So
The Space Marines, there's just
They can do D3 plus 1.
There's just like a guy hitting it with a wrench.
I only want rules
Yeah.
that mean things.
Yeah.
Like
Healing
So
one means it
there
only
is-
has 10 wounds.
it's like in World of Warcraft. Remember when they changed the talents trees from being like you can get 0.01% better hit rate to like we're gonna have less talents and actually make them mean something.
Yeah.
That's what I want here.
And now
Don't
they
give me
reverted
heal
that back.
one.
Yeah.
I know. Don't.
It only has 10 wounds. I don't know. I think it's something.
So one of the things they brought up in the article is that there is going to be degradation in the game, but
Yeah.
it's only at 1/3 now. It's not
Yeah, that's
half,
cool.
and then so it's like when you get them very low.
Yeah.
So I guess healing that one wound to knock you out of that, big deal.
Yeah. That's
Have you
fair.
seen their OC2? So like you can actually bringing a transport and throwing it onto a squad counts as 2 models. That's cute.
That's the correct word. It's cute.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah.
That's one termagant.
But that's the big thing is a lot of vehicles, and they actually displayed some of them. I don't know if we have the.
Yeah, we have more
Yeah.
images. I
So-
do kind of want to talk about armored tracks, though.
Vehicles.
Vehicles, like Tank Shock is kind of a thing now. Vehicles kind of fight.
What's the profile here?
It's
it's
hitting on 4s.
3 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 6, no AP, 1 damage.
Oh,
So yeah, you can
It's
kind
not
of
amazing.
but it's not on 6s, right?
It's not on 6s.
yeah.
Oh,
So you
okay,
can
okay.
charge with a tank and like try to
Yeah.
get those last few wounds, rather than just charge and then everyone goes, I'm just gonna skip my attacks because they don't matter.
Yeah. Short of giving them tank shock back, I like this. Tank should do stuff.
Yeah.
We have some other values as well. This one's interesting, like a storm speeder, also T9. Like we can see the scale has really shifted here.
Yeah, they're going. Everything's gonna be really thick.
OC3. Watch out there.
Oh,
yeah,
wait, what
and-
was the Rhino? What?
The Rhino's T9 and with OC2.
OC2. So a Storm Speeder is better at holding an objective than a Rhino.
It's not even on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, you're over the objective firing down onto people.
Yeah, that's true. And everyone's like,
Yeah. You're in charge. You're on
you're not
top.
even down here. And it's
They're
like,
fantastic too. I've been loving running my hammer strikes.
Yeah, 9th edition.
Yeah. And in 10th edition, they're going to be fantastic too.
Well, Gladiators,
Going up to T10.
10.
T10.
Okay.
Tougher than a Titan today.
Interesting.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not
and-
us.
not a tabletop
He means
Titan.
no. He
Like,
means
yeah.
is that this?
a Titan, like a
Yeah.
like a Titan.
OC3. So
Yeah, that's cute. What,
Yeah.
what else do we have here?
they
That's
kind of
it.
previewed
Nope,
There's not that much.
yeah.
to
Oh, there's
comment
one more.
on. There it is.
Repulsor.
T12 repulsor.
T12.
100
16
killer.
wounds.
Yeah. Another thing that you keep bringing up, Berger, I think is important to sort of be the voice of sanity. Higher toughness. Oh my God, the world is ending. We also have the
Weapons also.
anti-keyword.
And with the
weapons are high.
anti-keyword and like
Weapons are scaling.
weapon strengths are higher than than they were before. Like a 100 killer missile used to be strength 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's strength 14.
Exactly.
And it's not the end of the world that a vehicle is getting hurt by Melta on 5s. Because you can, there's, well,
Have we even seen the Melta profile though?
we haven't yet.
So I would be shocked if a Melta is still strength 8.
Yeah.
Or doesn't have
Or doesn't have
anti-vehicle.
anti.
I would be okay with it if it was, because I mean, they still have the thing about Melta is like, if you get that wound through, which is,
Yes.
it does, it like, against vehicles, it does more because it can do 8 damage. There's actually 8 wounds to wound.
Well, we don't know how much damage it'll do.
Right.
Right, but it does open up the design space to have weapons that do that. That maybe they don't wound as well, but when they get through, they do well. Or what the spread of possibilities is much wider, and that's the ultimately seeing these toughness only tells us so much.
Yeah.
But it gives us a sense for what the scale is now, and it's much wider.
And
than
we're going to see tomorrow morning.
before. Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, they said tomorrow morning they're going to go over weapons.
Well, stay tuned if you're watching this not in the future.
Yeah.
What we do know for sure is that bolters aren't going to chip down vehicles anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
the
gonna be
main
a lot
thing.
harder.
Which is great. I love it. Excellent.
All right.
I know. I'm hoping like Knights are going to be probably T14.
14 at least. With that, it's time to answer your questions. That's enough yapping from us.
Yeah.
Let's hear what y'all have to say.
Time to yap more.
Time to yap more. If you have any lists, if you have any questions, comments, if you want to compliment Shane on his beard, you can PM him separately. Let's do this thing.
Do you want me to read this? Thanks, Toasted Nachos.
Hello.
He has a World Leader list. Is a Lord Invocatus with Warlord trait, 10 Jackals with an icon, 3x5 Berserkers with icon and Eviscerator, 3x4 8-bound, 2x3 Exalted 8-bound, 1 Land Raider with a Combi Flamer, and 2 Termites with 2 Twin Volkite.
Termites are interesting.
Whoa, everything starts in a transport, bro.
Transports, and you can deep strike turn 1.
That's cool. It's a lot of points in transports.
Yeah.
Maybe too much for my taste.
When it's like the other stuff's so fast that like you can just reach.
Yeah, or you could just get more. You could just get more. Like, sure, some of your berserkers will die, but some of them will blood surge.
I'm curious what's going in the Land Raider.
The Exalted.
The Exalted will go in there?
Yeah, you can put them in Land Raiders, which is pretty sweet.
Okay. It's T9, so it's actually pretty durable.
Is T9 even 9th edition?
Yeah, that's what was the big thing in Chaos was that Papa Nick was running them back when Iron Warriors you couldn't reroll to wound against them.
Yeah, very, very tough.
So it was just like, wow, these things were incredibly tough, and then they lost that.
I like the inclusion of the Exalted. I think, once you run out of regular 8-bound, then you start taking the Exalted. So
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, literally the only thing I question is all the transports.
I would try to get Karn in there somewhere if we could. I really like him. I think he's very good value.
I like Karn, but in my heart of hearts, I think he's not the most competitive.
Oh,
He
interesting.
has a lot of points.
Oh,
He's like 160, 170.
whoa.
He's a lot. So
And he also didn't think of every point he gets for when he kills his own guys. I thought he was like 120. Wow.
no, he's expensive. So I take him because he's super cool. But if I was going to a tournament, I probably wouldn't take him, to be honest.
Interesting.
Makes me
Here we
sad.
learned. I loved him when I played him today.
Yeah, exactly, because you didn't know the points.
Yeah.
So it's guilt-free.
I mean, a lot of the stuff in like the World Eaters list though is so cheap. You can just get a lot in a list.
60 points for Master of Executions. I know it's not quite as good as Karn, but like you could almost get 3 of them for his price.
Yeah, I would take
Yeah.
3 of them over him.
That is.
That's
It's probably
real good.
better than 3 points. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's more blood potions.
All right, thanks, Evan. Oh
Evan.
no, Blind is throwing a dinner party, and you're invited.
All right.
You know it's going to be super awkward. What excuse do you and your Primarch husband come up with to get out of it? Terrain looks great.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Ooh.
All right.
I was on the road. Me and the con.
You're always on the
We're
road,
on
you two.
road trip. You know.
Yeah.
We're in the wrong part of the galaxy. We couldn't. It's too far. Couldn't make it.
He's not that fast.
We were busy that day.
Yeah. That's fair. Who's your husband again?
you-
Is it Mortarion?
Sanguinus.
Is it
No,
really? No, it's
you did not get Sanguinius.
No, you
I was
didn't.
got Sanguinus.
No.
You're with
Yeah, I did, I
Mortarion.
did.
Incorrect.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're with
I don't want
Stinky Boy.
Mortarion.
You're a stinky boy.
Yeah, we're filing for divorce.
I like that.
I definitely got Sanguinus. I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
do not have
Okay, maybe
Sanguinus.
Fulgrim.
Definitely don't have Sanguinius.
Sanguinius has been pretty much like Cat was Cat's with the lion now, but she was pretty close to taking Sanguinius. All I know is you don't have Sanguinius.
We have like not let anybody
I might
take
swing
Sanguinius.
on you for this.
right?
Anytime somebody
save
tries to
Sanguinius.
claim Sanguinius, we just make fun of them.
Because he's too good for this world.
He's too
He's
good.
so great.
That's why he had to die.
I've actually been to his grave.
That's true.
Have you guys have?
No.
Exactly.
All right, so you need to figure out Mortarion because that's your Primarch husband.
Told you we're filing for divorce.
I need to figure out the
That's why you can't go.
You
You're
can't
filing
go,
for
yeah.
divorce. Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
meeting with lawyers that day. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah.
My excuse, so I'm with Gilliman, of course, and it's about, we're doing taxes that day. Which is not wrong, because every day with Gilliman you do taxes. Like, you have to literally get you have to do all your expenses for the day. Like, he's like, if you don't do it now, it's not going to be organized when it's time to do your taxes. So
true.
we have to, you go out and buy something, literally you have to go and put it in the Google Sheets to,
Set
mark it
aside
down.
your deductions. Yeah.
So it's kind of a half-truth, which is the best kind of lie.
Oh yeah, everyone, don't forget to actually do your taxes.
If you're an
You got like
American.
3 days.
It's Tuesday this year because it actually lands on a Saturday and it gets bumped to Tuesday.
Amazing.
Not Monday?
Yeah, there's something about Monday.
Also, I think California got an extension.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. Well, there you go. If you're
Yeah.
in California, or
well, we're not sure about that extension. to
Gilliman's super
California.
into this.
if you're in Santa
File your
Clara
taxes.
County,
Gilliman's like, we need to go home right now.
yeah.
All right, thanks, Damien. This is when we were talking about silly Primarch names. Ferris Manis, just is Iron Man.
Man.
That's kind of a lame.
Even
Primarch.
worse, Manus is a hand in Latin. So he's literally Iron Hand.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, they named him that before he got Iron Hands.
It's also
It's like calling someone Captain Hook.
And then cutting their hand off immediately.
yeah, that's pretty messed up, honestly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Damien. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Liberty Fires. Michael Bay must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Oh my
Liberty
god.
Fires, do what must be done.
He's done so much to us already.
I didn't realize they kept making Transformers movies. I thought they stopped.
There's a new one
the
coming
best.
out.
I really
is a
thought
new
they
one.
stopped.
Oh my god.
Because why would they keep going?
Again, it's at a certain. No, I can't.
It was
Like-
like one of the last movies I saw with Jeff was like Transformers: The Last Night.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was one of those movies where I was just mad the whole time. We went for a midnight showing. I fell asleep at some point and woke up and was so mad it was still going on.
Why did you go to a midnight showing of a Transformers
We went
movie
every Thursday.
as an adult?
Every Thursday. It didn't matter the movie. We always went to the openings.
That's like not
Every
worth the price.
Thursday?
Every Thursday. It was great. I
That's why
loved
he
every
looks the
moment
way
of
he
it.
does now.
Yeah. And
you-
it was like was like Michael Caine that they get actual like Michael Caine in
Yeah,
it? Or was
yeah.
it Anthony Hopkins? It was like one of them, like someone that's knighted.
I think it was Michael Caine.
And let me just like frame it for people. There's like one scene where he like steps on like a Decepticon's landmine.
Yeah.
And like flies through the air.
Oh,
in his
spoilers.
Flabby like white, just fat, just hang out flying. I'm like, he's a knight. And he like falls down. He's like, oh, I'm dead.
No.
And I was like, why did they shoot this for 5
Stuntman
minutes?
definitely did that. By
No,
the way.
he
Just heads
didn't.
up.
To be clear, it was not actually Michael Caine.
It's not Michael Caine. Is it Anthony Hopkins?
No, that got blown up.
I'm telling you, it was
a stunt
actually him.
person.
Definitely
They
a
don't
stunt
fake
person.
that. I would know.
They don't fake that.
It was just like,
We're gonna
oh
move
man,
on.
I have never been so upset in a movie. Anyways,
All
Thanks,
right.
Goose.
What's up, Goose?
This is their ordering of Lord of the Rings movies: Two
Ooh.
Towers, Fellowship, Return of the King, in
Ooh,
that order.
You're close.
if you put like an
They are
equal
close.
sign between all of them, yeah.
I accept the
They're
equal
definitely
sign.
not all equal.
Yes, they are.
Nobody thinks that the
There's
three
no
Lord of the
bad
Rings
one, because
movies are
if you would
equal.
put them in a list, you'd say there's that would mean that one's a bad one.
less good than the others.
It's like the Spinal Tap thing. Like some of them are a 10, some of them are an 11. Fellowship's an 11, and the other two are 10.
Wow.
Yeah, like,
Oh, I can't.
It's not below
shut
100%.
up, Bridger.
It's,
You're just wrong.
it's the most Bridger reason to be upset about it.
Yeah, next you're gonna be like the Hobbits are good.
No, I thought the
not-
Hobbit movies were terrible.
Don't take that bait.
Everyone.
I saw the first one and I was like, no, we're done.
I
We're done
I
here.
had to keep watching them, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Specs. Hey, gang, I just want Adrian to know that every GSC game is better than the last, and I think he's doing a great job learning over time. No need to be so down on yourself. The Four-Armed Emperor is accepting of us all.
thank you so kind,
Aw,
Specs.
that's
I
so
appreciate it. Yeah, I just feel bad. You know, I want to put on a good show for everyone.
I've
but
been
it's
saying
so
for
complicated.
a long time that you should play like GSC as your main army.
Yeah. Well,
I think it fits your play style very well.
so that's the thing. So I've been playing a lot of Orcs in tournaments with mediocre success, right? And one of my difficulties has been really getting out of this mindset of playing the way I do.
Yeah.
And it's happened against you. It's happened against Nick twice.
Yeah.
And I have so many games where I end up at this decision point of like, do I go in and risk losing everything, or do I back up and try to save everything? And I keep doing the second option, which is the wrong option
Yeah.
for Orcs. And then I lose by like 3 points. And then eventually I'm just like, maybe I should be playing something that's my style for tournaments and playing Orcs for fun.
Yeah. I think that.
So that's one of
definitely
the reasons
true.
I've been looking more into GSC lately, because they and Harlequins are kind of my,
I think you'd like
style.
that. You like that cagey. You like being able to.
yeah. I take my own advice. I'm always setting people to play the style that matches you.
Yep.
So we'll see. But thank you, Specs. I really appreciate it.
Just going back to the Lord of the Rings thing.
No, we're not going back. You're just gonna
rolling
make me
it back
angry.
a little bit.
You're just making me mad.
You guys are saying that the army with the Mumakills and this giant spiders and a ghost army
was awesome.
not the coolest movie?
The Ghost Army is one of the worst parts of all the movies.
Well, okay, but they
Even
made
in the game, it's frustrating. You're like, oh, and I gotta fight the Ghost Army. That level sucked.
I don't know, man. I thought it was
It's a great game.
You know what
cool.
I'm
They had
talking
giant
about.
Yeah,
elephants.
Return of the King was a fantastic game.
It was a fantastic game.
Giant elephants, pretty cool.
It was awesome.
You're
Return of the King's great.
Yeah.
This is great. This is
But
great.
the Siege and Two Towers, best.
I would say Two Towers is my if I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and watch a Lord of the Rings movie. It's my go-to.
Pick that one because it's the best.
No.
It's my
Literally,
go-to.
The
It's not the
first
best.
10 minutes of the Fellowship Extended Edition is the best 10 minutes of the entire franchise.
That doesn't mean it's the best
The
movie.
best 10 minutes of the franchise?
Yeah, no, I'm
Did you
serious.
go to Helm's Deep? Did you fall asleep during that? And
It was too exciting for
I don't
Adrian.
think it's cool, but like, I love the world building, and this is what The Hobbit misses out on, and a lot of these other fantasy movies, is, we take so much time with the Shire, and Howard Shore's like music is so perfect, and it's just like, it's just beautiful and
That's
poetic,
true.
and the colors are gorgeous.
They're all the best one.
Oh man,
I can't explain logically and like break it down mathematically. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't exist in the realm of logic.
We can all agree that the only person wrong here is Bridger.
That's true.
Well, chat disagrees pretty heavily. Well,
chat's wrong.
With who, you or everyone?
Well, everybody has a different opinion,
Yeah.
but pretty much nobody has agreed with you guys on this.
Wait, what? We don't even.
Well, they're wrong.
No.
How dare they?
Wow.
All right.
You'll need culture.
Thank you,
Anyways,
Fate Stay
next-
Dreamer. I'm sure we'll get back to Lord of the Rings. Don't worry, Shane. We'll be back to it. Thank you, Fate Stay
I'm changing
Dreamer.
the thumbnail.
10th is looking okay, but scenario,
Okay.
10 intercessors and a lieutenant targeting a rhino as Oath of Moment target still puts a lot of wounds onto it, which means small arms fire still might be king. Thoughts? No,
mean-
I don't think you're going to put Oath of Moment on a rhino. That's my
Yeah.
thoughts.
Feel free.
Yeah, you're putting, like, if you're dedicating a bunch of all your resources into it to drop that, then yeah, it should die. Like, that's not an insane thing.
Yeah. You're not wrong, Fate Stay Dreamer, and people have been concerned about, they see Oath of Moment, they're like, oh, what about knights? And I hate to be the person that says wait and see, but I think let's see what knights have to maybe counteract that. Maybe they turn off free rolls.
Or maybe they have wound caps.
Maybe they have wound caps.
yeah.
You know?
And if you're re-rolling even, like, if knights are like T14,
yeah.
if you're re-rolling everything on
Sixes.
sixes with a unit of 10 intercessors, what are you going to
enough.
still get four shots through?
Well, it's auto wound actually with the
Auto wound.
lieutenant.
If
Okay.
you reroll all hits, then yeah, you're going to get a lot of wounds through.
Like 8?
Reroll all hits and wounds.
Yeah.
You're fishing for sixes both times.
Yeah.
You'll get like half your shots through.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 10. Do you do 10
Which
wounds?
is not, obviously, it's not going to kill a knight.
That's before
Yeah.
saves.
Yeah.
And remember, the AP's probably dropping.
And
too.
the AP is
I would
dropped,
be
yeah.
surprised if knights didn't have a 2-up save.
Yeah.
Or some other damage mitigating factor.
I think Knights could easily get away with the 2-up save and no one would be mad.
I think we got to keep an eye out on.
Yeah.
There are exceptions, and we can assume until we know otherwise that there's going to be something that helps them get
That's
rid of
better than, like, honestly, it's like, people are not taking intercessors now and shooting them at all. They're just, intercessors sit on points and don't do anything.
I know, right?
So I'm like,
yeah.
having them when you buff up and actually have an Oath of Moment, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, my army's focusing on that. If you're shooting elsewhere, like, you're not getting your buffs.
Like imagine we had this today in today's game. We can each pick one unit a turn and it dies.
Yep. Which we pretty much do anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully on board. Thank you, Amsterdam. Hey, Titans. Excited for 10th. New Dante is Primaris scale. Is jump infantry next? Do you think they will have captains and lieutenants with jump packs that can go into units? Dante and Sangard unit is pretty spicy. What about bike HQs?
Dude, we need bike HQs. Come on.
I hope that they're doing more jump infantry. That's, you know how they did Phobos?
Yeah.
I want like the next kind of set of things to be different jump models. I really like suppressors as a model, and I like the concept of them, but they never had rules that matched. Mm-hmm. And I would love, the cool thing they've been doing with Primaris models are they're exploring spaces that have not, they're not just upgraded models, they're spaces that have not been explored in Space Marines yet.
Right.
So my dream is the next infantry is a jump infantry that all have heavy melee weapons. I would love to see like the two-handed hammers that from like the Dawn of War game on jump infantry, and like that's their thing. Or the whole squad has eviscerators, which I remember when they redid the assault squad, the eviscerator model was one of the coolest.
What if they had Primaris feet claws?
No,
I
you
would
lost me.
stop playing.
No, you lost me. Only Raven Guard
Vultazar!
and Night Hunter. Night Lords.
Hunter?
Night Lords
because it's creepy.
and Raven Guard are the only two factions that can have
All right, fair
bird
enough.
talons
So
on.
I would love to see more. I would love to see like
I agree.
suppressors made with different heavy weapons.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. I don't think it's guaranteed.
Yeah,
Dante is a unique thing. And don't forget, we already had Korax as a jump Primaris character, and we haven't seen anything since. So
yeah,
it would be cool,
yeah.
but I don't think it's necessarily a sign of things to come.
yeah. I think Dante coming out in this book. I think he's more of a standalone release.
It's they kind of had to do it, right?
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah.
like they went it all in on like Phobos and just made like stealth guys the focus. They could totally do a whole box about
That'd be cool.
here's like
Yeah,
Okay.
looking back, I think Phobos were the wrong proportions. They're not, like, you would expect Stealth Marines to be slender and, like, fast. and they were none of that. They were actually bulkier than normal Primaris.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe the jump infantry will be... No, they're just going to be bulky again.
Slender Marines.
They're
'cause
just
they
like
have to have
making bulky
equipment.
Marines.
Yeah.
Next specs. Shane, by finally speaking the truth and stating the problem with Thousand Sons is their secondaries, that means you've instantly won my heart and my soul, sir. Hashtag justice for Shane. And thanks, Connor.
Oh, we're just gonna go on. They wouldn't thank me yet. That's another one of my armies that I gave away. I had a full Thousand Sons army for a while and then gave that away.
Yeah. Did you play a game with them?
What? I did.
Wow.
Oh, that was the turn of my grandpa.
That was a
died,
revealing question.
Oh.
Yeah, that was like I think the last time I played them. Had nothing to do with that, but it was just like
Jesus.
they're a very cool army. I actually really like them, and it just I really didn't want to paint trim. That's
Yeah.
really what it came
Which
down
is
to.
what that whole army is.
So you
Yeah.
sold them to our friend Jake, who's a monster, and then he painted them all in contrast.
Yep.
And
And
then
then he sold it, and
Yeah,
I saw them later
it was
on
eBay,
Like
yeah.
I saw them on eBay later. I was like, that's the Contemptor Dreadnought I built.
And he sold them for more than you sold
You
them
did.
for sure.
It's pretty cool. I wish I was as cool as Jake.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a secondary problem, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Alrighty. Thanks, Connor.
Hey.
That list is ordered alphabetically. This was talking about the units that the lieutenant could go in.
Okay, yeah.
I think the redacted are Incinerator Squad and Veteran Intercessors.
Oh.
Also hurts that CSM got nothing.
Dude.
Wait, why do we think CSM got nothing? What does that mean?
From the balance day slate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
They did get nothing. I
Honestly,
wonder why.
I think CSM is kind of in that same boat that I think they could have gone free war gear, and I don't think it would have been the most insane thing on the planet.
I mean, they already did it with Death Guard, and Death Guard have better war gear than CSM.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of I was kind of hoping my pipe dream was that they were just going to be like, you know what, end of 9th, everyone gets free war gear.
Right.
Or go crazy animals. But they didn't. But yeah, I think Chaos are into this very. I wish they would have maybe reverted some of the changes to Creations of Bile, but the CSM book is balanced on such a knife's edge that they're kind of middling right now, but any touch to it even goes worse, and they have really bad secondaries.
Yeah.
I think they have some of the worst secondaries in the game, and they have the most.
It goes, it's true. It goes so fast in either direction, like you said.
Yeah.
So they can also get really, really, really powerful. Like if you gave them Arm of Contempt back, they immediately jump up hugely.
Yeah. I want to go Armor of Contempt, but yeah, I think...
Because that was one of the things that was probably the biggest thing that they lost. It was almost the only thing that they lost, right?
Yeah.
They had points increases, but they weren't so substantial that I honestly think it would have had the change that it did.
Yeah.
I think it was they're built towards Death Stars, so the durability was so
Yeah.
it compounded so well with their plan. No rerolls, hit transhuman, 5-up feel no pain, and you have -1 AP,
and you bring back a model every time.
and you bring back and
Yeah.
feel a model every
But,
turn.
like,
If they lose anything to that, or a spell doesn't go off, the army just goes off the rails and you lose.
yeah.
in a world where every army is planning on being able to kill whatever's in the open, having an army that can Death Star and not die consistently in every matchup
Yeah.
causes problems. Like, it's just a balance issue.
Yeah.
And that's why they took that away, and that's why you can't give it back. But that was their key to success. It's like, we're just super counter meta because you can't kill us. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Well, they still can run the Death Star.
Much
very
less
killable.
effectively.
Yeah. What did they lose on the Death Star?
Ignore AP1 or reduce AP.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal. It doesn't sound like it is.
But you needed mass shots to
AOC
get through.
Yeah, I don't doubt is fantastic, but yeah, it's like exactly they just have that build, and then everything else on it, you're just kind of
yeah.
I think they could have done with free war gear, and then be like, that's like a nice stopgap,
Yeah, I agree. They need something right now.
and then they could have made Sons of Bile on a 3-up.
I don't miss Creation's Bile. I think it was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
It wouldn't win events because it would lose to shooting matchups, and then it just kind of played itself against other matchups.
Yeah.
I played Harlequins. We just run around and shoot them to death. So that
Take
was
yourself, son.
fine. I just
That's fair, but yeah, I think CSM are in a actually really bad spot.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, thanks again, Connor. Got an Iron Warriors list for you.
Yeah.
We got a Disco Lord with Gorget of Hate. We got a Mop with Demonsmith, 4x5 Legionaries of Zinch with Chain.
Ooh, yeah.
Chain guns, yeah.
Venom Crawler, 5 Possessed, 1x5 Rubrics with Flamers, 2 Decimators with 2 Claws, and a Heavy Flamer.
Yep.
and a Mauler Fiend, and a Brass Scorpion. Wow.
Yeah, dude. We were just
Yeah,
talking
this
about
list, I'm like,
Scorpion.
okay, this list got it. And then it's like, here we go to Crazy Town.
I love it.
What does the Brass Scorpion even do anymore?
I don't even know.
It makes cool clicky
I
noises,
just
dude.
bought one. I don't know what it does.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
It is just cool.
I mean, you can obviously stack some cool Iron Warrior stuff with it. So it's if you're gonna run it, this is the Legion. Well, yeah. If you're gonna run it, this is one of a couple that you run it in.
Yeah, it gets AOC.
Yeah. This is cool. I like the Tzeentch Legionnaires because they're just gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Venom Crawler is great. Possess is great. I like the inclusion of the rubrics with the Flamers with Iron
Those
Warriors.
are so nasty.
They are. They're
Papa and Nick
expensive,
used to
but-
run that and in a Land Raider,
Yeah.
and like it was just like, man, this just sucked because yeah, destroyed everything I had.
I wonder what the Decimators like.
They're like kind of better Hellbrutes,
Yeah, you're right. So
but
they're-
Hellbrutes are really cheap. I don't know if they're cheaper than Hellbrutes.
well, so these ones get invuln saves. 'cause
That's
they're
a big
demon
deal.
engines. And unfortunately, the CSM Hellbirds don't.
Yeah,
So
that's a big deal.
I think I'm here for it. You got 3 to 4 big melee monster threats. You've got some scoring. And of course, the Legionnaires, don't forget, they're Tzeentchians, so you can give them the invuln, you can ignore one damage, and you can -1 damage because they're Iron Warriors.
Ooh.
So they're quite durable. I think this is a cool list.
Yeah, I think so. I think Brass Scorpion is probably like. It seems like that's the thing where things going. I'd maybe break that down into more Mauler
No,
Fiends.
you take that back. It makes cool clicky clacky noises and it
Yeah.
screeches at the enemy. Yeah. And then it charges in.
Yeah. I'm just such a big fan of Mauler Fiends.
Oh, I think Mauler Fiend's the right option over the Brass Scorpion. But let's be honest, the Brass Scorpion
yeah,
is the right
yeah,
option.
it's Scorpion
coolest
made
option.
of brass.
Yeah, it's just so cool.
I've learned from my ways.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Connor. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Fate Weaver. What does Adrian think of Von Ryan's Leapers?
Von Ryan's Leapers. Okay. So, literally, I had a call with Brian, and he was like hating on these models.
What?
He was like, "Oh, I don't like the proportions. The mouths are ill-defined, and all this thing." I was like, "I think they're super cool." These are the little.
My
units
only thing
of
that
them.
bugs me is that they have hooves.
A lot of Tyranids have hoofs.
Yeah.
Warriors have hoofs.
They're supposed to be super sneaky. And they're going to be like clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. That's my only problem. Like,
Maybe they're
someone's
soft.
like, is there a donkey around
Maybe
here?
they're soft hoofs. They're like.
They're fleshy
gross.
hood.
No, don't say that. That's really gross. Take back those words.
It's so gross.
That's one of the most disgusting things you've ever
They're
said.
covered in a secretion, so they just make like sucking sounds.
Yeah, they're actually suction cords.
Yeah.
Whoa, they have in the Warcom article.
Yeah.
There's like this cool graph. Or is
Yeah.
this Warcom? I don't know.
Look
what
at this
is.
graph.
There's this cool graph that shows like the evolution tree of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the hierarchy of.
These guys are from back in the in the lore.
That's cool.
They're super
Yeah.
cool.
I guess there's like some Catachin guy that was the first one to discover them.
Well, it's just like in the trailer we saw the Neurothrope looking thing. It's kind of bigger, it's kind
Yeah.
of weirder, and some people are like, maybe it's the return of the Doom of Malachi,
Yeah.
which is another name thing. We'll see.
It's so weird that they just instead of just calling them leapers, these are Von Ryan's
Well,
leapers.
that's the guy who found him, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Also, Von Ryan's Leapers TM, Games Workshop, 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copyrightable. All right, last one for the night. Thanks, Fate Stay Dreamer. So I noticed a lack of transport capacity and unit restrictions on the Rhino. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm
think
starting
they
to
just-
worry you have to flip to another page again.
They may have just forgot to include it, or
No, that was an image of a data sheet. They didn't just forget to include a portion of the data sheet on the data sheet.
you know what? The transport rule might just be like you can put.
We're going back.
Yeah, let's go back.
We're going
Let's-
back.
Maybe there's like a generalized
Deadly Demise, Firing Deck.
There's nothing here about putting.
transport.
It has a transport keyword. No, it has a transport keyword in keywords. I'll bet that's what it is.
So it'll probably the rule is that you can put one unit inside a transport.
They're standardizing, yeah.
Yeah.
One unit, and now the characters are in units. That works.
Yeah.
But does that mean you can put one of anything in any transport?
I hope so.
You
That's
can
my
put
biggest.
Centurion Devastators in a Rhino.
I'm all board for that. I want to tear down the barriers between.
You can't
Size.
put Cent Devs in a Rhino, dude.
I was talking about earlier.
You
I
just
think
stack them up against
yeah.
each other.
I think Thousand Suns should just have infinite space like rhinos. They're like, yeah, it's a corridor to a different dimension.
Portals.
We put it in our car.
That's what the Necrons do.
Yeah.
Why not?
But yeah, I wonder. It'll probably be one squad, and they'll probably have a list of specific units that can go inside transports.
On like a separate page.
Yeah.
They'll have like a breakdown.
My
a
only
table?
thing is, of course, think of the extremes. Like, is it going to vary from codex to codex, or can a truck take 20? Can a truck take 30 boys?
Maybe.
It's the ultimate clown.
I mean,
car.
it used to be like however many you can fit, right?
We should bring. That
I'm
back.
worried. My thing I'm worried about, I feel like they haven't said yet. I think there's going to be set squad size for everything.
Oh.
I don't know anything. They really like this idea that you buy the box and that's the squad.
I hate that idea.
I
though.
hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I'm gonna run 3-man custody squads. Get
Yeah,
outta
man.
Here.
I don't know.
I refuse.
Hey man, I don't know. I'm not. I have no thing to justify it. I just know like they've been really kind of keen on like, yeah, man, this is what you get.
Now it's too late. It's gonna be clipped.
I know.
You hear what Tabletop Titan said?
Earlier he says he can see the fates of the
This
stars.
is like we're not affiliated
Yeah.
with him.
I am not a tabletop titan.
All right, he
I'm
snuck
like
in.
the titan that is like locked underneath the earth.
Yeah.
They snuck in with one more. Thanks again, Face Daydreamer. Also, the Arbite article has 10th rules for agents of the Imperium.
That's what you were saying. You're like, there's one more thing.
What is an
Yeah.
Arbite article?
Arbite?
So it's the space cops.
Yeah.
They got like rules to be in 40k, and then I guess they tossed in the agents of the Imperium rules for 10th edition.
Why would what? God,
Because they're crazy. GW has
already
gone mad.
putting out so many rules, and if you go to Warhammer Community, there's like 100 articles a day, and most of you need to be able to filter stuff out.
Are we even
I
gonna talk
can't
about the
read every article they
librarian?
ever publish. This is not okay, GW.
Yeah.
Pick a lane. Articles are for one game at a time.
It's wild. It's insane. And then they'll do like crazy stuff where they'll drop like independent characters, all of 10th edition's changing. And then like the next day they'll be like, this is what the lion would look like if he was wearing a hat. And they're like, all right.
It's so true. What was the Saturday? It was like one of the Saturdays. Because frankly, one of the things I do is I watch to see what they come up with, obviously to decide what we're going to talk on the Good Talk.
Right.
And I was like waiting. I was like, Saturday morning, let's see. And then it was like, it was April Fool's. It was April Fool's. So it was like, what are we going to talk about, the April Fool's trailer for an hour?
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Oh my
Gino.
God.
It's like, it's weekend. Give us something to
Yeah.
I
to
completely
talk about.
forgot like what day it was. And I was like, I could see them putting a branded hammer workout. They're just trying to save their constituents.
I'll tell you what, we'll check out the 10th edition Arbites or Arbite rules, and we can also talk about it on Saturday, since it'll probably be a nonsense article for Saturday anyways.
And you guys should tune in Saturday. I won't be here, but cool things are going to be happening on Saturday.
So I'm told.
Oh, a lot of cool things are happening.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. We're playing Dark Angels. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. You already said too much. I'm going to have to interrogate you.
That's it. You don't interrogate me.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
All right.
Well, it's been a lovely evening, of course. Let us know in the comments below for everyone watching after the fact which thoughts. We definitely do check them. So if you have different thoughts on which Lord of the Rings movie is the best / worst / they're all equal, let us know.
Please don't send me the message about that.
DM that to Mr. Ruckus.
Yeah, at Daruckus
Yeah.
77574.
I'll just take it out on Bridger and or John.
Honestly,
John's not even here. I'll still come after him.
Brian's not here. He's hard to say Brian. Anyways, look, it's been a lovely evening. Shane, thanks so much for coming on, for playing and chatting. It's always a
Yeah, it
pleasure.
was kind of a change up of things. Wasn't expecting it, and then it was so much fun. And now I'm gonna just have my shopping cart filled with like a whole army of world eaters, and I might be like, whatever happens, what happens?
If you see Exalted, let me know.
Yeah, I
what-
can get you Exalted. I know a guy.
You know, guy.
Shane knows a guy.
Oh, on that note, thanks so much for hanging out.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time on the tabletop. Bye.